what makes someone trans? Like, at what point is someone trans?
When they say they are.
Next question.
What's good people? I'm OBO, and in case you didn't know, I'm the G in LGBTQ, and you're watching It's Just Not Adding Up. So get in here and act like you got some sense. We're about to create some space.
Hope is in the building, guys.
I'm in the building.
I've been waiting to have this conversation with my girl Hope. Listen, seriously. Let's just start with the nitty gritty. Like, what do you want people to know, understand about trans women? Like, what do you think people need to know? Or is there a need to know?
I'm glad that you phrased it that way because I'm not sure if there's like a need to know, right? Like I think we should be having conversations about people as human beings and not as their caveat. The caveat to OBO is X, Y, and Z, right? Yeah. But is that something that I need to know in order to like enjoy his company or whatever the case may be? And I find it that like when we're talking specifically nowadays about trans people, the caveats guide the conversation rather than the human being. Yeah. And so it's like, before I ever get to open my mouth and you realize that like, I like anime or that Bring It On is one of my favorite movies or whatever the case, things that you learn about other people before you know any. Sometimes we'll be in the checkout line at Target and learn something about a person before we even know their name.
Yeah.
But like as trans people, it's like those caveats like introduce you and then people are like, oh, I know who you are because you're trans. I don't think that I walk in the room and kind of sort of carry my transness with me. And also the cis assumability that I have also kind of sort of absolves me from that.
Yeah.
Which has brought me to the position that I'm at now because I think 5 years ago, Hope might have said something different. But I think the privilege of cis-assumability now has me in a space where I'm like, I don't walk into the space now and bring that, and people can still receive me. And so, yeah, it's not a necessity anymore.
But I think at the same time, I've said this on a video before, you guys have seen it, well, hopefully you guys have seen it, where I talked about, like, is the T necessary to be an LGBT, right? And so for me, I'm always curious because I think sometimes it can be a little confusing. When I'm explaining identity and orientation, people are just getting this chokehold that they don't understand.
Every time.
You know, and so I'm wondering, was it just put in there in terms of everything that feels other to society, put them part of this group. So we're going to do LGBTQIAP. I'm just going to put them all in this group because I don't get it, go over there. Or do you feel, okay.
That's exactly what is happening. And I think that the T gets looped in oftentimes, the T gets looped in oftentimes because of the transition phase and the transition period, right? The assumption is you are a man or you are a boy, you grew to be a man, you've had the experience of a gay man because obviously there's no other way to find your transness other than through sex with men, even though that's not true.
Yeah.
But then beyond that, like because you've gone through that particular journey, there's an understanding of it, which is why I think that the T initially came and became a part of the acronym. Mm-hmm. But like you said, I think that now it's become an otherdom. And what's so funny is that the people that are complaining don't realize that they're the ones that set it up this way, right? Mm-hmm. Like you complaining because it's just like, okay, I'm learning, but y'all got all these letters. Yeah, but the reason for them is because of you. Because everything that's not straight has to go in that category, right? Yeah. And so every time y'all add a new thing, that we got to add a new letter. Yeah. And so, we don't f with disabled people. Okay, so now it's LGBTQIA plus D. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
People say it was happening because of protection, right? Yeah. Like, put you over there, you can feel protected. But does it really happen that way?
You become a target.
Legitimately. And I think it's a very interesting space to be in. I want to go back, right? What makes someone trans? Like, at what point is someone trans?
When they say they are.
Next question.
like that, I mean,
yeah.
Like, I don't, but because then somebody's going to say the thing of, well, because what I find now is that everybody's using Rachel Dolezal as their like anti-trans rhetoric person now, right? Yeah. She says she's a black woman, so there's a lot of nuance to this particular situation.
Yes.
However, if that's what she said, then that's what she is, right? I challenge people to decide whether or not they want to respect that. And then then a lot of my trans folks start to say, well, Hope, you're giving people license to respect you or not. I think that what it really is folks understand the asinine nature of making that comparison, but it's something that helps them to move the goalpost until they can find something better because they feel like you're going to get stumped with that. So whenever somebody brings that up to me, I'm just like, okay, she is. And guess what? She was treated like one until somebody found out different. But also, let's talk about that. Like, so if we do want to, if I can go on my little tangent real quick for the people who are going to ask about that or who do want me to expound on it. Yeah. This woman didn't just blackface it like most people did. We always say, like, they want our rhythm, but they don't want our blues. Rachel was one of the very few white people that took them blues, too.
Yeah.
Like, let's be very clear.
Yeah.
And so while I think that it was slight coonery the way that you felt like you had to do it because you understand the historical nature, not because I think it's coonish to want to be black, because we're bomb. We're awesome, and especially black women. And so I feel like because you know so much about it and because you did so much digging in history and research and you were in community with us, you know the nature of why blackface is not okay.
Yeah.
And you understood the points behind that, and you still did it. That's what makes it foolish to me. Not the fact that that's how she felt, but also it's one of those things where it's just like you get to decide whether or not that's going to become your truth.
For sure.
And when it comes down to it, when we have these conversations about, okay, well, then if they get to decide whether or not she's a black woman, then they get to decide whether or not, and they do. The thing about it is, do you agree with that? Do the people that love you and do the people that you sit in space with every single day believe that you a man? Because if they don't, then who cares? I don't care about what these random people on the internet and these couple of people that I run into in this particular moment think about me.
Yeah.
The folks that I'm surrounding myself with and the people who I genuinely love and I poured myself into for the last couple of years and now I come out, what do y'all think?
I think coming out perpetuated this idea that I'm asking for validation, right? And that's not what this is. Me coming out is, and I think people trying to switch it to letting you in, and even that, I don't know if I necessarily wholeheartedly agree with.
Because I don't.
As much as it's, I'm telling you a fact.
Right.
I am gay. That's
Period.
the fact of the matter.
Yes.
You take with it and do with it what you please, but that is the facts that I'm telling you. And I think I'm also within well reason to say all of my facts at any given day of the week. I don't have to ask for permission to say my facts. I don't have to make them palatable for you to receive my facts. These are the facts.
Right.
And
End of story.
That's on you.
End of story.
Where do you feel the most safe? Or who do you feel the most safe around?
Well, I mean, right now, my boyfriend.
I love that.
He just makes me feel.
Shout out to the boyfriend. What's up, man?
Shout out, Pumpkin Man. I love you. But I don't know. He just makes me feel affirmed, and the things that I felt like I've had to work on in other relationships. He came with those things.
I know that's right.
He broke me down and was like, "Nah, you thought I was not." You thought I not okay, so you still think I'm no. Like, and it was one of those things where like every time I would try to catch him, like, because we all have our traumas and we all have our things that we be waiting around the corner with a new person with like, like I got your ass.
Scare me.
Yeah, right. But it's one of those things where like I feel like in every moment where I was waiting around the corner, he was waiting there for me with like something else that wasn't what I was expecting, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And in moments where I did catch him slipping, it was full accountability immediately. There was no explanation of why you need to hold yourself accountable. It was, I understand, I did not think, and so I apologize. And there's nothing that makes me feel safer than a space where not only is a person so emotionally and mentally in tune with themselves and with me and what I need, but the space where I also feel safe to say, I was wrong too. I fucked up too.
Yeah.
Because I know you're not going to gloat on me. I know we're here to hold each other accountable so that we can be better as a couple. We're not here to gloat on each other every time one of us gets caught doing a thing. And I think in so many relationships, that's what it is. It's like, you caught me, I caught you. You caught me, I caught you. You caught me, I caught you. And now we holding all of these things up each other's head while trying to have a healthy relationship. And that's just not what I want. So I feel safe because I can say, you know what, babe, that thing I did earlier, you was right. I was up and I apologize. And it's like, thank you for seeing what I, And then we end up having a better and a more like emotionally responsible conversation with each other. It's always growth. And I just appreciate that.
I love that.
Yeah.
He sounds amazing. But I've seen your dialogue about disclosure, right? And so like if we can bring a little piece of that to this dialogue here, like what are your thoughts centered around disclosure?
Do what you feel comfortable with. And I say this being a woman that has always disclosed. I don't think and I say think because I want to be honest. Like we're human beings. We forget little instances that we feel were insignificant to us. And so I don't think that I've ever withheld any information from anybody. At least not in a sense where I felt like it should have been given. Me meeting random people and them finding me attractive and me not saying nothing is not the same. But like in spaces where I knew what it was and what it had the potential to be, I've always done that. But I also understand and I hear what my sisters are saying when they say it's about safety. It's about whatever. It's about I don't owe you that. Whatever it's about for you, sis, stand 10 toes down in that. But also understand the world that we live in, right? We have the world, we have our world, and then we have something in between that people kind of sort of play the fence on.
Yeah.
If you want to play the fence knowing what the world is giving, then I'm going to march for you like nobody else should that happen to you.
Yeah.
But I stand 10 toes down with your right to say that I don't owe them that.
Again, which is why I think it's confusing putting identities and orientations in the same bucket, because I cannot count, I probably can count because this happens so little, if someone asking me what is my sexual orientation. I don't meet guys and they ask me if I'm gay. We do what we do. I don't even think it's come up. Like, do you like me? You know what I mean? And I think it's interesting that in the trans community, or people who like trans women, trans men, there's this big push on like whatever, like, do you like what I'm offering? That's kind of the bottom line, in my opinion, right? I mean, do what you do, but for me, it's like, do you, which by the bisexual conversation to me is a conversation that we're just not ready to have yet. I keep trying to make it a thing, guys. I get it, we're not ready. But, you know, do you like me? Do you have the capacity to like me? Getting to know me, because whatever I come with, because me being gay does not instantly make you know who I am. And a lot of people think because I'm gay, or because I'm gay with this disposition, or I'm gay with this persona, or whatever, you think you know me, and you still don't.
They run the list down.
Okay, well, he's gay. He has a bunch of followers. He's this, like, I know how he is.
I know how he is.
You still don't know me, sweetheart. I promise you don't.
I was literally just having this conversation with Pumpkin Man on the way here. Okay? But that's what it is. They get a couple of fun facts and they piece it together based off all the stereotypes that they've created for themselves and socially accepted.
Yep.
And then it's just like, oh yeah, I know you. Yeah, like you cool. Like you're not one of those, but you're one of those. And so with those, I know that I have to treat you like this. Like, cool.
And we can go on a tangent. I'm not going to.
A whole tangent. It'll get real. Okay.
Someone's watching this who maybe pre-transition, who maybe, you know, is experiencing their experience and doing the things. What advice would you give to somebody in those spaces?
Take your time, child. Take your whole time. Like it's at first I think I was very adverse to some of the comments that people would give and still give. Like when I see people in my comments from years ago who have been following me, they're just like, hope your transition is just so like it's come along. So, and I think that the Banji trans girl that does live inside me, do not let this fool y'all. I'm a whole hood rat. But that Banji trans girl inside me that wants to believe that I was just it, right? Like she be mad that people bring it up. Like she be in her feelings like, stop, I know we had a way. But like the elevated version of me is just very happy because I'm just like, the reason why I can be so comfortable with everything that is going on with me now is because I didn't rush into nothing. I did everything as the universe made it possible. I really did. It was one of those things where it was just like, when it was time for me to get my boobs done, it worked out. When it was time for me to do X, Y, and Z, everything worked out. Like, I didn't have to beg and plead and borrow and steal for nothing. I didn't have to do anything that I didn't want to do. Yeah. I didn't have to engage in some of the activities that my sisters engage in to do any of the things. And it was because I was willing to wait. And I find that a lot of the time, the girls, especially you young girls, y'all are not willing to wait. Y'all see a fab girl and y'all want to be her tomorrow. And little do y'all know, like oftentimes, even those fab girls with the quick transitions, like it still wasn't quick. Yeah. Like some of them want to wake up tomorrow and be a Maya. And it's just like, that's not how that works. Take your time. Because up here has to also be matching with what's out here, or else it'll never work. And that's the thing that you don't learn if you do it too quickly, because what'll happen is that this will be giving what it's giving. But excuse my language, this will still be giving boy. This will still be giving, if I can say that. You might have to edit that out. But this will still be giving the gay games. And it's because you haven't allowed yourself to move through the space and understand the nuances of what it's like to be perceived as a black woman. Because you just woke up, got off the table, and now that's your new reality.
I love that. I think taking your time is necessary in most parts of your life.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, what can I even add? I think the only thing that I would add is listen to people. You know what I mean? Even for myself, I'm listening to you. You know, I can't proclaim to know your experience. I know what I assume. I know what I think. I know what makes sense to me. But be open to what doesn't make sense to you, making sense to somebody else.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times we validate things that are true for us on other people. That doesn't make it less true for them because it's not true for me.
That part.
But yeah, I don't know what else to say, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Keep creating space. Peace.